is sitting pretty right now. So you should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This your boy Kangaroo coming back once again. Talk about my Alabama Crimson Tide. To celebrate concerning my Alabama. Let's all get up on our feet and yell, roll Tide, baby. Nobody beat my Alabama Crimson Tide. My got breaks off.
That's the way I say it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again on this Oh man, my mic has went out again. But anyway, let me start over. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again on this Wednesday, on Tuesday evening, to talk about the game of the week. My Alabama Crimson Tide going on the road to face the Georgia Bulldogs. Is this a rivalry or is it not? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know, but we got a great show in store for you today. So with that being said, let's sound the alarm and welcome a 27-year vet of covering sports, Randy from How About Them Effing Dogs Cast. Sound the alarm.
There it is.
What's going on, Randy? How you doing? How you doing, brother?
KB, man, I finally made it over here. I'm going to call it the dark side, but I'm not scared. Y'all going to be friendly. Y'all going to be nice. Y'all going to do it right over here.
Ain't nothing to be scared of over here. Ain't nothing to be scared of over here. It's all good, and we friends.
That's right,
friends. Just a little all it is just a little friendly what we call it, rival. That's all. That's all. A little friendly rival.
That's all.
It only lasts what, 3.5 hours?
Yeah, about 4 hours.
Then we can be friends again.
I'm fine with it, man. I'm fine. I appreciate you choosing to have me on here tonight. Like, we were talking about it before the show. Man, there's so much stuff going on out here. Like, you don't got to throw a rock without hitting like somebody talking Bama, Georgia. Because
exactly.
I know there's some other games out there this week, but everybody knows who's going to be watching what.
Yeah, you know what? This game is going to have the highest ratings of any games this year. I know it's another game on, pretty good game on. I think it's is it Penn State in Ohio State or somebody?
Oregon, Penn State and Oregon.
Okay, Penn State and Oregon. So I'm sure everybody will be watching Alabama and Georgia, though. I'm sure everybody in the SEC will.
That's right.
So, but how you been doing, man?
It's good, man. This season, like this summer, you know, I talk dogs 24/7, 365. Right. Like, I don't do nothing else. I don't talk baseball. I'm not worried about the NFL. I'm not looking at college football. I'm talking Bulldogs all the time. Right. So we got through the spring and that was fine. And then you get around media days and things are a little fun, you know. But once we got into July, from July to now, like, it has just been downhill, you know, and it's cool because there really is enough to talk about year round. It's just that most folks don't do that. Like they just wait until the season comes. And I'm like,
Right.
I am all about my team in such a way that there's always something for me to talk about. And I know you're very much the same way. Like
Right.
we could be talking about like workout stuff in the fall. I mean, in the spring, we could be getting ready for spring practice. Then you got post spring ball and you got recruiting. There's always something. So I'm just happy to be back in the season, really, because now it just keeps everything moving so fast. The only problem is keeping up. That's what I'm having. I mean, because it's not just YouTube, right? There's because I'm putting stuff out all over the place. So there's always something to be working on or checking on, or so, you know, somebody in the comments I'm talking to, and I'm thankful for it too. I mean, I really am.
Well, you saying you putting stuff out everywhere. Tell everybody where they can find you, you know.
Okay, well, it's pretty simple. I mean, we do call ourselves the How About That Dogs Cast, right? So all you have to do is put an @ symbol in front of HBTFDAWGSCAST, and you will find us everywhere. It's the same handle everywhere you go. So TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, over here on YouTube, right? Anywhere you want to be, you can find us.
Okay. That's what's up. Well, you know where you can find me. And just a little bit of news, I just seen that Jamarian Latham suffered a neck injury today, and he had to be transported to UAB hospital. So let's hope that he's all right, and he'll probably miss the game. But most importantly, let's just pray that he's all right.
That's right. I mean, now help me out just a little bit. The name Latham sounds familiar, right? But I'm thinking about a lineman. Is that right?
Yeah. He's a defensive lineman. We had a guy named Latham before, but he was an offensive lineman. He in the NFL now.
Okay. Yeah. I knew that's probably the one I was thinking about. I hate to hear that, man. I do hope he's okay.
Right. But let's get into the show and talk about the game and get your thoughts, man. You know, I already know you feel like your dog's going to win, but you know, just like I feel like my Alabama Crimson Tide got a good chance. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be a hard-nosed game, especially in the trenches. So, with that being said, how do you feel about Alabama coming into Athens for the first time since 2015?
Yeah, man, that is a long time. I mean, it's kind of cool. You know, we're over here doing this, and the smart people who are watching college football are here with us tonight. They're not paying attention to what's happening over in the SEC because Chris Lowe just yesterday released the pods, right? So the cool thing about those pods is that we're going to get to play one another a lot more often because the fact that you guys haven't come to Athens in 10 years is one of the primary reasons I point to this back and forth between Alabama and Georgia as not being a rivalry. It's a game, but there's a difference. Like Alabama is rivals with Auburn. Georgia is rivals with Florida. This is a big game, but Alabama and Georgia are not rivals.
Right.
You simply don't play often enough. And that is the main contributor, right? Familiarity breeds contempt, and contempt is what gets you a rivalry. Now we have respect. There's respect between the two programs. There's usually respect between the fan bases because we know when we get together, there's going to be some paint swapped. We know there's probably going to be some good ratings on the television. We know that people are going to have something to say about it, you know, but that's a big game. That's not a rivalry game. So I would go there to start. And in terms of them coming to Athens, man, I'm happy to see it. Like I said, I think if you've got premier programs inside the premier conference of college football, those two teams should play on a regular basis. And it should be home and home, not in Atlanta. You know, and I that's just kind of how I feel. I'm super stoked about it. I'm really, really hoping that this week will be like the first 2 weeks of the season for Georgia, which means I'll get to be at the game. I'll get to be on the field. And I can't wait to soak in that atmosphere because I think it's going to be crazy.
Right. But yeah, it's not a rivalry. I think we done played like 6 times in 18 years in the regular season.
Yeah.
So it's not a rival. Most of the time we done met was in the SEC championship. So I think we'd have met in the SEC championship 4 times.
Yeah.
So I don't consider it a rivalry because, like you said, we don't play each other enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, but us coming to Athens, I'm kind of nervous about that, being that we haven't been a good road team with this staff. So that's the only thing that I'm nervous about. And if we can get out that funk of being a bad road team and we can do it with this game, I think that'll be big.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is like, I know you guys started on the road, right? But it was out of conference. So on one hand, I'm like, well, they've already been on the road. They kind of have their feet under them as far as being on the road. But we both know it's different when you go on road in the conference, right?
Right.
And so I'm really going to be paying attention to how that offensive line, how your new quarterback, how they handle the kind of atmosphere that I would bet my bottom dollar is going to be on display in Athens on Saturday night. I mean, it comes down to, I know that when people looked at that Florida State game, the physical stuff that you could see about what happened with Alabama seemed to get most of the talk. But what I really want to know is what's between their ears, right? What kind of mental toughness do you have? And one of the ways that shows up is whether or not you allow yourself to be impacted by a loud crowd. You know, are you going to jump off sides? Are you going to be too hyped and create, like commit stupid penalties? How is Ty going to handle operating that offense if Georgia can do what they do and, get them behind the chains and then let the crowd really come up? Because I really do think that the crowd's going to show up. You mentioned 10 years since they've been in Atlanta, or since they've been in Athens. This is not the same animal that they strolled into last time. And I'm not just talking about the team on the field. I'm talking about the atmosphere that they create inside Sanford Stadium now is nothing at all like what it was in 2015. So I know Alabama's used to playing in big games and crowd noise and all that, but that will be a factor. How they handle it is probably going to go a long way in determining how they perform and ultimately do in this game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the crowd is going to have an effect on the game. I mean, the atmosphere. But going back to 2015, we had Kirby on our sideline.
Yeah.
Not this time. And then on top of that, Georgia won two national championships since then. They done been in the playoffs 3 or 4 times. I mean, they got that 33-game home win streak going for them. They're going to try to defend it. And I'm sure the crowd is going to do all they can to keep that win streak going. So, yeah it's going to be big. Speaking of Ty, I want to see how he perform in this environment. Looking at Florida State, that environment, it was a Rutgers crowd.
Yeah.
But like you said, this one is going to be much different. And, man, I just hope him and the team respond in a positive way.
Seeing as how they're on the road, and I don't mean to jump in on you there, but I heard your coach talking about, he was answering questions about the logistics of travel, right? So we got to get there, and then we got to take a bus to the city, and then another bus on game day, and all this. And he tried to talk about you want to always do it as good as you can do it, and nobody's going to blame him for that. But do you think any of that at all is something they would change one game into the year? You think they're going to change up how they do stuff?
No.
I mean, that seems like, I'm like, what are we talking about, man? You should have figured that out before y'all went to Florida State.
Well, as a fan, I can only speak as a fan. I'm not concerned with all the logistics. I know a lot goes into traveling.
Yeah.
Getting everything set up with hotels and getting to the field and all that, or to the stadium. But as a fan, I'm really not concerned with that. So if Coach DeBoer talked about it, I don't see any reason to talk about it. That's just me. Because, this will be I didn't hear it, but this will be the first time if I'd have heard it, it'll be the first time I heard a coach talk about the logistics.
In fairness, he was asked directly, because of the struggles you've had on the road, right, over the last year and a half, is that something you're going to look at and see how you can do things differently? And so he tried to answer it as best he could, and it was from his presser on Monday. So he only spoke for 8 minutes. But that was one of the questions he was asked, and I'm like, I mean, I get it, because if you're a reporter, you're just like, looking at everything, but I can't believe that they're going to turn things over and do something dramatically different than what they usually do, So, I mean, Athens is a little bit different because you fly into Atlanta and they usually don't stay in Athens. They'll stay out in Gwinnett or Buckhead or something. And then they'll drive into Athens on game day morning. So that is a little bit different. You don't stay in the town, so.
Right.
But
and
that's
it's
just
like an hour ride, ain't it?
Yeah, depending on where you stay, thereabouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it's important to them, but not to me. My only concern is the game. That's it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I want to see how Ty and this team going to respond in that environment. How well they're going to execute the game plan in this environment. Now, what I don't want to see is the effort that we saw at FSU. Losing the game is one thing, but losing the game without putting in an effort forth like you did with Florida State, we can't have that. So
I'm with you, man. I'm with you because that's the kind of stuff that shows up on tape, right? I know know the saying, the eye in the sky don't lie, baby. So if you ain't putting it down, if you're not putting out tape that you think is draft quality, then everybody's going to see that. And so that's like one of the biggest questions I have. I just don't know what to make of your squad. I understand that they played well the last 2 weeks, but that is a DNA trait kind of thing. Is that really who you are? Now, with that said, I absolutely expect Alabama to be the very best version of Alabama on Saturday night. I expect them to be getting after it. I expect them to be hustling. I expect them to come in there, execute, I expect that's how they're going to show up. But even expecting that, I know what I saw when they played Florida State. So if somebody does step up and punch them in the face, what are they going to do? Are you going to turn the shoulder and be like, I don't want no more, boss? Or are you going to step up and meet the challenge? I mean, that's something that I think if Georgia's smart, they're going to straight up check it. We're going to find out early. They're going to try to lean on them a little bit in the run game and find out if they want to hang in there.
Right. And that brings me to mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the mindset of Georgia and Alabama is right now, coming into this game?
I had somebody ask me right after the Tennessee game, before the Tennessee game. So like the Thursday before the Tennessee game, they were asking, do you think it's better for Georgia to lose to Tennessee, be a wounded animal, have a week to stew about it, and then go out and play Alabama? Or do you think it's better if Georgia beats Tennessee and then has a week to get, healthy and get right and coach them up and then go play Alabama? For my money, the better scenario was that Georgia wins because this game doesn't need anything extra. You don't need motivation to go play Alabama. I mean, you might have to find some motivation to play Austin Peay. You don't need motivation to go play Alabama. And if you do, you're probably at the wrong place, So there's that. And this team is so young. And you may have seen the number bandied around. There's something like 70% of this roster. I think the official number, 72% of this roster, is in year 1 or 2 at the University of Georgia, which means they're freshmen or sophomores, or they've just transferred in, right? So this is like their first year on the team or whatever. That number's crazy high. So when you've got a number like that, going on the road against Tennessee was a huge measure in a lot of ways. And as a Georgia fan, I feel really good about how they fought. I feel really good about the fact they didn't beat themselves, and even better about the fact that they just kept swinging and were able to connect late and get the win, So I would rather them go get the win, have that confidence under their belt, and now go out there and face this Alabama squad. If they had lost, a team that young, you just aren't sure how they're going to react, So I'd rather them get the win, come in there and play. So I think Georgia's coming into this game confident in their abilities because they were in the pressure cooker up in Tennessee, and they got out of there that way. They learned a little something about their quarterback. Well, maybe we all, or Dog Nation, learned a little something about their quarterback. I guess the team already knew what they had in Gunner. And I just think they're going to show up and be ready to play. Now, Alabama, I think they should by all means be riding high. Clearly, they've played well the last 2 weeks. And it's not just the scores. I would say that for the most part, they looked like they were playing crisp. They looked like they were executing. And that stuff from Florida State kind of looks like it got, shook off. The question is, can you do that same thing if you're across from somebody that's, equal in talent, or fairly close in talent? I think that's the test. So I think much like Georgia had a lot to prove when they went to Tennessee last week, I think Alabama, in their circles, they don't got to prove nothing to me, but in their own circles, I think they're going to prove something on Saturday. They're going to know something about themselves moving forward. And even if Georgia wins, if Alabama goes in there and plays well, and it just turns out to be a really good game that don't go their way, that still does a lot for that team moving forward. So I think Alabama's going to come ready to play. And why wouldn't you be confident given the last 2 weeks that they've had?
Well, as far as Alabama, man, I do think they got something to prove. I think they need to prove that they can win on the road. I think that they need to prove that to themselves, that they can play up the standard on the road, or play to the standard on the road, no matter the environment, no matter the team. My thing is, I don't think they need to worry about who the opponent is. Just go in there with the mindset of, we're going to do what we have to do, and everything else will take care of the rest. Everything falls in place if we do our job and do what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and then again, all the talk about this Alabama team from the showing from Florida State. Yeah, we done played outstanding the past 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, that was against lesser opponents. Can you do that same thing against a team like Georgia, or a team like Tennessee, or a team like, let's say, Oregon, or somebody like that? Can you do the same thing? Yeah. Can you play up to that level? Yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily have to win the game, but can you, play up to that standard week in and week out? You're getting in the SEC play now. So the mindset got to be different. That's what I think. And then with Georgia, I think Georgia got a lot to prove. And I know they tired of hearing this 1-9 talk. I know this. I know Kirby is tired of hearing about, you 1-6 against Alabama, or whatever he is. You know what I'm saying? Plus, like I said, they got their home win streak at stake. And I'm sure they don't want to lose that. So I just think both teams will be coming into the game with something to prove.
Here's a thought. Since you bring up the record, which we've already discussed, is spread out over a lot of years.
Right.
Time is undefeated. Remember the number I just said. 72% of this roster is in year 1 or 2 in Athens. Really, the only thing that they know is the fact that they lost at the wire last year in Tuscaloosa. Right. And most of these dudes aren't like me and you. We're out here old Gen Xers, right? We have long memories. These young dudes, I don't even know that half of them watch football when they're not playing. What I would say to that is Georgia's best case scenario is that these dudes are just too young to care about any of that. Like the fans, it's a great point of angst and stress, anxiety and all that. But do I think that the players are going to obsess over that? I don't. I think they might be aware. It's kind of hard to not know about it. But, I mean, it's just like Curry said, and you and I know this. When Georgia went up on Tennessee last week and won that game, the previous 8 victories that Georgia had consecutively over the Volunteers had zero to do with whether or not Gunner was going to make that throw in the fourth quarter to win the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the same thing is true here. None of those previous games have nothing to do with any of this as far as the players are concerned. Now, me and you, I mean, that sucks. I don't want to hear that no more, you know, but you and I also both know that this game is in its entirety just one game. And if Alabama loses, their season's not over. And if Alabama wins, then they can reframe some stuff, right? Because you've already got the one loss if we're talking about the national tournament.
Right.
If Georgia loses, well, clearly you still got everything in front of you. And if Georgia wins, well, now we can really start to look at what they can accomplish this year, you know, because they will have 2 wins over 2 quality teams. And then you have a pretty good gauge about where you might be against an Oregon or against an Ohio State. So I think at the end of the day, that's kind of where I settle on it. I don't get too wound up about it, but you're right. I mean, nobody likes to hear that number. I mean, it's just a reality.
So as far as the game, offensively and defensively, what do you think Georgia's game plan will be coming into this game, coming into the game?
All right, so I've got a list here. I'll try to keep them grouped together. So, like, let's look at the defense first. If you are Georgia, I think one of the keys to the game is you need to remind Alabama that to this point in the year, they hadn't been worth a rip running the football, right? Ranked 103rd in the nation. So if you're Georgia, who has been better this year than they were last year against stopping the run, then you need to show up and stop the run. Just let them know early, you boys ain't doing that tonight. And then you put it on tie. That is probably my bigger key. Alabama has wonderful skill. And it's not just 1 or 2 dudes. It's probably 5 or 6 guys that Alabama's comfortable throwing the football to. You can't give Simpson enough time to get to number 4 or 5 because eventually you're going to find somebody that gives you a matchup advantage. So Georgia needs to stop that run and then cause enough chaos around Ty to speed up his internal clock so that he can't sit there and get to read 3-4 or beyond. They need to have him make 1 read, maybe 2, and then he's either got to let it go or they're on his ass. That's what they need to do. And there's a question about whether or not Georgia can do that because last season, Georgia didn't sack the Alabama quarterback. Now, granted, it was a little bit different scenario, right? He was a runner and all that, and they were trying the best to keep him in the pocket, which they didn't do a great job in the first half, clearly. But even when he dropped back to throw it deep, he had a pretty good pocket most of the night. Can Georgia generate some havoc around Simpson, speed him up, and make sure that they got that run game on lock? I think that's the thing that they're going to do because Georgia clearly is, if you're going to look at a spot that and say, well, they have a spot where they're vulnerable on defense, it's going to be probably at the safety position primarily, and then the secondary as a whole. And part of that is inexperience, and part of it is talent. You don't have Malachi Starks and KJ Bolden on the back end at safety. You've got KJ Bolden and then whoever else they decide to go with this week. And that is going to be a matchup issue. So if you let Alabama sit back there and pick them apart, he gets to that read against that safety, or he gets to that read against our star, and that's probably going to be advantage Alabama. And he is a good enough quarterback to put it on them, you know? So I would be concerned about how much that defensive secondary has come along. I'm not even actually worried about the corners. The plays that were made against Harris and against Robinson panicked as a freshman getting his first real playing time. He'll grow from that. Harris was in perfect position. Wide receivers do a little hand fighting. The guy makes a play. You know, that's football. So my big concern is safety. And are they just going to be able to get the communications right against what is a very skilled Alabama wide receiver core? I know Jam's coming back. I don't know that he's going to be able to like jumpstart the run game just based off of what I've seen from the offensive line. I'm sure he's going to bring something to the room in terms of toughness and leadership. And he's a great pass catcher and a great pass blocker. So if I think he's going to have an impact in the game. It's going to be in the pass game, probably in those two ways. You swing it out to him, you dump it down to him, and then let him get to work in space. I think Miller's going to be a factor, but I don't know that it's going to be handing the ball to him in the run game. So defensively, that's kind of how I see it. What do you think? Am I on it?
Yeah, I think you pretty much defensively. What about offensively?
I think that Georgia has to do what they've been doing, which is run the football. And a large part of the success, whether or not Georgia's going to be able to do anything offensively, is much like Alabama. The right side of Georgia's offensive line has been the weak spot. Part of that's due to the fact that their two starters were hurt early in the year, and they've been trying to get back. And so far, they can't stay on the field. Maybe they're on a pitch count or something like that. If those dudes were able to take advantage of the bye week and get themselves healthy, and I know that the starters are going to be out there on the right side, I'm not going to worry as much. But if those guys can't go or they're having to come in and out of the game, then there's going to be a spot over there on the right side of that offensive line that's a problem, because not only do you have clearly a step down in terms of who's playing tackle for you, he's not your starter, so clearly it's a step back. And then you have, in some cases, a true freshman playing at guard. If our starter can't go, then there's a potential there for some miscommunication and things to get fouled up. Even with all that said, Georgia's been able to run the ball, and they've been able to roll backs through as needed, right? So, like, depending on what they want to do, they've got a back that can do that for them. And Georgia, to this point through the season, has 4 backs that are on pace to gain over 400 yards. And when I looked at the season prior to the year, I said, if I could have that, I'm going to be thrilled, because that means that we're able to run the ball a little bit, which means play action works. And, that's what makes your offense go. Right now, that's what pace they're on. And that's not like garbage time. That's like real carries. So if Georgia can keep running the football the way they have been when they want to, which is what they've been able to do so far, then I feel good that they're going to do that throughout the game. They're going to be stubborn about it too. They're not going to bail on it. Even if it's not going great early. I know Keenan's coming back. Even if it's not going great early, they're just going to keep on trying it, so I expect you're going to see that, and then they're going to play off of it. You're going to see a little gunner run in there, maybe 5-7 carries, something like that, not too much. I think you might see a lot of him once you get inside the red zone, doing things with the read option game. And then when they want to, again, take your shots down the field off play action, right? It's show some stuff early in the game and then play off of that as the game goes along. I think that's what you're going to see from Georgia. In terms of the special teams, every time Georgia steps on the field this year, they should have the advantage in the special teams game at kicker and at punter. And this could be a game where if they give him an opportunity, you see Zach Branch flash in the return game, right? I know, didn't Wisconsin have a decent return against Bama?
Yeah, they ran a touchdown back.
Oh,
like
touchdown.
95 yards.
So there you go. So, I mean, there's a shot, that something could happen there. So if that happens, then it's a good day for Georgia. But I think Georgia's in good shape on the special team side. I think offensively, you got questions at right tackle. And then you've just defensively, we got issues and questions at safety, right? And we'll just see how it goes.
Okay. Well, as far as Alabama defensively, I think we're going to have to stop the run. That's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
We're going to have to stop the run. And what I think is you're going to have more runs than passes. And my fear is that Georgia's going to come into the game with a game plan of run and gunner more than we think. Because since Kane Womack has been there, we had issues with running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Gunner can run. He might not be a runner like, Tommy Castellanos or freaking whoever else done ran a mile on us. He might not be one of those, but he can run. And I think Georgia is going to run him more than we think. I know you said 7, 6, 7. I'm thinking 9, 10 or more.
Okay.
Because that's how I stopping the running quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what's killing us. And then you mix Gunner in with your run game. I know y'all gonna have some design QB runs. I know it.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of is Kane Womack planning for that when it comes because it's coming. All right. And then we got to attempt to stop Branch. Branch is a pretty good receiver. I think he's your most talented receiver and your number one receiver. But then again, you can't just try to stop him because you got Dylan Bell. Mm-hmm. So we got that. But I think the most important thing is stopping the run and trying to get some pressure on Gunner. I would much rather getting beat with Gunner's arm than get beat in the run game. Because when you get beat in the run game, you getting pushed around in the trenches.
To your point directly, that one of the things that Gunner didn't do, he played great against Tennessee for the most part. But if you're really nitpicking him, one of the things you can point to is the fact that sometimes he would do a little drift and he would fade back. So he'd start in the gun, take the snap, and then fade back, and that ain't helping your tackles out none at all. He was putting himself in danger. And there were times in the game where he played it perfectly, climbed the pocket, delivered the football, but it just wasn't consistent. So you're right. If they can get after him and come off the edges a little bit, that's some way you might be able to get to him, because inside the pocket, he has shown that he's not always making the correct decision inside the pocket. Now, on the other hand, he has saved Georgia in a lot of ways because he could take a play that's not any good, and turn it from a 6-9 yard loss into a 3, 4, 5 yard gain just because he pulled the ball down, And even if it's not a designed run, which you're concerned about, those are the kind of runs that add up and make a difference over the course of the game.
Right. I know Georgia rushed for over 100 yards every season that we playing, but we hold them to under 100. But you got to remember this season, Georgia, I think 2 games in the 190s, and then the other one was almost 300.
Yeah, it was a bunch.
So you gotta factor in that. But for Alabama offensively, establish the passing game while attempting to establish the run game. Now, I think it's going to be a passing game versus a run game. Our passing game and y'all run game. I think y'all a little weak in the secondary. You talked about that. But then again, our offensive line got to give Ty Simpson time. We got issues on our right side also. All right. And then when you look at the left side, Caden Proctor, he'd have been beat so much throughout his career. That's still a concern.
Yeah.
And you going up against better athletes. They might be young, but they better athletes than what we done faced so far. So, and then, Jam Miller coming back. He's great at pass protection. Great. Yeah. And I'm so glad he's coming back. Richard Young, he just got ran over, got crushed by Wisconsin. And Ty Simpson had to take a sack. I think if Jam Miller was in the game, that wouldn't have happened. But the thing about it, we haven't given up too many sacks as of yet. I think we gave up 2 or 3 against Wisconsin, and then we gave up 1 in the past 2 games. So I just think offensively, if we win, it's going to be the passing game that wins it for us. Because I think we got an advantage in the wide receiver core, just like y'all got advantage in the running back room, So to me, it's going to be Alabama pass game versus Georgia's run game. And I'm not saying y'all can't throw the ball. Y'all can throw the ball. You proved that against Tennessee. Gunner proved that he can make the throws against Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I think our defense is better than Tennessee's, on the back end, but really all around. So I think y'all will be going up against a better defense. And I just pray like hell we can get some pressure on Gunner and try to limit y'all run game.
So do you think, and I kind of think I know where you're going to go with it, but do you think that Bama's going to throw the ball early and then try to run it late? Ideally, that's what you do, loosen them up with some quick stuff and then run the ball a little bit and then maybe get into some play action later?
I mean, throwing the pass game is our bread and butter. I think we're going to go to it quick.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will help us establish the run game and help us have a better running game than we have the previous 3 games. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
So, yeah, who is your X factor offensively and defensively for Georgia?
How do you want to define it? Do you mean somebody you might not know, or just somebody I think is going to play well?
Just your opinion. Who you think going to have the most impact for Georgia, offensively and defensively? You can name multiple players. It don't matter.
Well, defensively, I think we need to have Gabe Harris. I'm really going to look at our edge guys, our outside linebackers, and our hand in the dirt edge guys, because like I said, I think the key is going to be, can they actually win and generate pressure when they have an opportunity? So if they stop the run the way I hope they can and get Alabama behind the sticks, 3rd and, medium and long, that'll give them an opportunity to then show what they can do in the pass rush. And I need those boys to go win. And somebody that's going to have to do that would be Gabe Harris, right off of one side, Quintavious Johnson on the other side. And a name that is probably on everybody's lips, if you know anything about Georgia at all, is Chris Cole. You mentioned Proctor earlier.
Yeah.
Cole leads Georgia in sacks. He only has 2, but what he can do is bend and rush with speed. And when I look at Caden Proctor, I look at a guy that maybe don't handle that so well. This dude is quick, and like I said, he can bend at his hips, dip, and get around the corner. I think Chris Cole might show up and do some things this week for Georgia in the pass rush game as an outside linebacker. So defensively, that's where I would look as guys that could be an X factor, because, again, I think that pressure is so key on Ty. Because like you said, y'all want to throw it. You got weapons. You just want to let them go play. So for me, I think that's where we might see it. On offense, the guy that you don't know anything about yet that is going to have an impact, it's just a matter of when, is Noah Thomas. You didn't mention Colby Young, but Colby has made some plays for Georgia already. Colby has done great work for Georgia this year. The guy that hasn't really seen the ball come his way yet is Noah Thomas. And there's a reason for that. It's some of it is just his physicality in the blocking game, right, on the perimeter, because Georgia has been doing such a good job out there on the perimeter with their blocking. Noah hasn't necessarily, from what I hear, been a guy who's super willing to stick his face in the fan and do that dirty work out there. And that just has limited his opportunities on the field, right? He's had a couple, but the ball just hadn't come his way. I think this could be a week where you have to worry about Zach Branch and Colby Young and London Humphreys, and then, Dylan Bell, and by the way, Noah Thomas, right? Because he's another one of those big-bodied dudes that can go up and get it. You give him a 50-50 ball, and he can make a play. I think Noah Thomas could be an X factor for Georgia this week. The other obvious one on the offensive side would be Zach Branch, because we've seen him do the bubble screens. We've seen him do, the quick slants and stuff like that. If they decide to open up his route tree a little bit and give him an opportunity to work a little deeper down the field, that could be something that was a big strike, for Georgia, because you don't have to do that more than once. You just got to hit it when you have your opportunity. So I would point to Noah Thomas, and then maybe Zach Branch is my other guy.
Okay. Well, for Alabama, I got defensively, I got James Smith. So I think James Smith is probably our most explosive defensive lineman. He plays along the line. But with Tim Keenan coming back, he may not be on the field as much as he was with Tim Keenan gone, but I'm going with James Smith defensively. Okay, so that's just my guy defensively. I love what I see out of James Smith. Also, I want to go with I know a lot of people like Quay Rashaw, but I'm going with Yanzi Pierre also, edge rusher. So I'm going with those two defensively. Offensively, I got to go with Ty Simpson. I think he's going to be an X factor. He got to be. Yeah, we ain't got no choice. But that, that's obvious. And then somebody you might not know is Lotzia Brooks, number 17. He reminds you so much of Jalen Waddle. Okay. So much. He got the speed. He got everything it takes to be a great wide receiver from the slot. So I we all expect Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard to get the ball. And I also like Isaiah Horton.
Yeah.
He's a 6'5" wide receiver. I like him, But then again, if I didn't go with them, I would go with the entire offensive line, because, we got to protect. We got to protect. And hopefully, please let us get this run game going. Because I think if we get this run game going, oh, man, Georgia defense will have a long day. So if we can do that, I'm good. But those who I got is my X factor, offensively and defensively.
Tell me a little bit about your guy Smith, because I don't know a lot about him. Do you see him more as just a havoc maker, or does he have a specialty against the run, or is he a better pass rusher? Yeah.
James Smith, he's a great pass rusher. Great. Plus he's good in the run game. He done had several tackle for losses. Going back to, he didn't start last season. He really didn't flash until Michigan. So, I mean, he's a great run stopper. When he's on the other side of the ball, he makes the tackle. I know we got LT Overton. He gets in the backfield a lot, but he's known not to finish. He got a sack on the season, which was great. I know during the offseason he was talking about, he's working on just finishing because he gets in the backfield on a regular. But James Smith is my guy. I love what I see out of James Smith.
Nice. All right.
James Smith, I think he's a sophomore also.
Oh, nice.
I think.
I saw earlier in the chat, I believe it was Enrique who shot a question in there, and he was asking about the penalty situation for Alabama. Because Georgia has been pretty good. They hadn't beaten themselves. And we were talking about the crowd noise earlier. This obviously would be an issue for Alabama if y'all are already having trouble with penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, how you feel about that?
Well, I believe we'd have had more penalties than the opponent all 3 games. So if that's the case, and with this crowd, it just might be an issue for us, especially when you in the red zone. And I think it'll be an issue. And if we don't get a hold of it, it might not cost us in this game, but it might cost us down the road. So I really don't know what they can do about that,
Well, I think about last year's Georgia team, and one of the things about Kirby's teams is that they are disciplined, right? They don't make those mistakes that beat themselves. But if you look back at that Notre Dame game, there were 2 key plays in the fourth quarter where they had 4th down, trying to get off the field, give themselves a chance to tie the game, and when they jump off sides, give Notre Dame a 1st down. And it was by guys that you depended on as being leaders on the team. So clearly their discipline failed them last year. This year, the squad up to this point hasn't done that. So I think it just comes down to, where I started, which is mental toughness. Like, is it hard? Can you do it when it's difficult? That kind of stuff. And, obviously Kirby prides himself on working them boys hard at practice and getting them, making practice harder than the games so that when you show up, it's a little bit easier. So obviously you don't want to beat yourself with penalties. That's for sure.
That's for sure. What else I want to talk about? We didn't already talked about some of this, but what is the most concerning issue for you in this game?
I think if I had to come back to one thing, it's as concerned as I might be about the offensive line. I think the bigger issue in my mind is the situation at safety. And if you just want to say the defensive backs, that's fine too, because I just think that it's kind of like I'm reminded of Georgia, Ohio State 2022. I mean, we all knew that Marvin Harrison was great, right? But it wasn't just him. They had 4 or 5 guys that they would throw the ball to. So if Stroud could buy some time, one of those dudes was going to win, and then he put the ball on them, right? I mean, that's what happened. So when I look at this Alabama squad, I look at them as being, I'm not saying they're the same, but I'm saying they're deep like that. And Alabama don't mind throwing the ball to them. So if Georgia's not rushing Simpson, like speeding him up a little bit, then I really do have a concern about matchups on the back end. I just think that eventually he would get to somebody who's winning for Alabama, and I believe he's a good enough quarterback to put the ball on him. And that don't go well. You know, you get in a scramble drill, you give up a big play. As we were talking about Gunner earlier, picking up a big play, getting you out of a sack or whatever. That's kind of what that would be for Alabama. You know, Simpson rolls out of the pocket, the guys are running around back there, and somebody wins for him. And now you're looking at a short 3rd down, or maybe he picks up the 1st down, or even worse, you give up a big play. So my biggest concern would be that if we can't finish, like you were talking about with Overton, on Simpson and get him to the ground or get the ball out of his hands, I just think that that doesn't bode well for Georgia on the back end.
Okay. Well, for Alabama, my biggest concern is Kane Womack. That's my biggest concern. My biggest concern is Kane Womack. What defensive scheme he's going to come into this game with.
Yeah.
And his play calling. That's what worries me more than anything that we done talked about. Kane freaking Womack. I'm not a fan of his. Not right now. He done great these past 2 games. Is he going to fall back into what he brought to Alabama last season? Is he going to fall back to what he did at Florida State, or how he called the game? Is he going to fall back into his lack of adjustments or not making adjustments? Like I said, these last 2 games has been wonderful from the defense, but you also got to look at the caliber of the opponent, right? So can Kane Womack get this defense up? They shouldn't need Kane Womack to get them up, but can Kane Womack get this defense up to perform like they have the last 2 games? Can he bring this same mentality into this game that he took into the last 2 games? Like, we can't lose this game. Is he going to do that? Or is he going to fall back until the same Kane Womack that we seen last season against Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Florida State this season?
So help me out, KB. Help me out, because you talk about play calling and tendencies. So what is it that he's doing that's a bird in your saddle? Is it not bringing pressure? Is it bringing too much pressure?
Not bringing pressure.
Okay.
Now he has done that the past 2 games.
Okay.
But the majority of the time he spent there, he don't bring pressure. He don't dial up blitzes. Now, did a great job with that against Wisconsin. We need to see that against Georgia. And I know it all goes off what the offense is doing. But what he was doing last season and against Florida State, it seemed like it wasn't what the offense was doing. Whatever his game plan was, he just stuck to it. He didn't change. That's what it seemed like to me. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm just going off what my eyes saw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have it on my list right here. One of the things that I think Georgia has to do is let Gunner go. They got to let him go be a player. So they got to let him throw it. They got to let him run it. Like, we're not saving you for nobody. Like, you got to go show up and play the thing. And hearing you say that they don't blitz a lot or hasn't, I wonder if they view Gunner as enough of a running threat to not do that.
But that's the thing. He wasn't blitzing a lot, but you still getting ran on.
Yeah.
Now, you could chalk that up to players being out of their gaps. You can, I mean, I know you can't just blame Kane Womack. Players got to be responsible too.
Right.
But it's your job to put these guys in position to win. If you know the defense that the scheme that you came in with and the plays that you are calling are not working, it's your job to make the necessary adjustments. And I don't think he did that all last season or in the Florida State game. What you think, chat? If you're an Alabama fan, what do y'all think? You know, so
it's one of those things. Like we talked about the Georgia offensive line on that right side. Like I said, there's, you know, freshman at right guard. You've got a senior starter at right tackle if he's healthy. If not, then you've got a younger player out there too. That is clearly, and that was one of the things that showed up against Tennessee, was that the guys weren't communicating and passing off their defenders correctly. So if he does choose to come with some heat against Gunner, I mean, it's 50-50 shot that they're going to run scot-free, you know, if it's those freshmen out there. So it's not worth, I mean, it's worth taking a shot because it could absolutely be a big deal for him.
So, and I want to bring something else that Edward Bishop put in the chat, that against Florida State, it was like 3rd and 13 or whatever. Obvious passing down. Kane Womack had a true freshman in that ain't played a down of football at corner. Well, it wasn't a touchdown, but it went for like 55, 60 yards down to like the 2-yard line. He was just beat, and the safety couldn't get over. He had another young safety in there that played all of about 5 snaps last season on that down. You know, stuff like that.
Is he still doing that though? 3 games into the season, or have they cut back?
That was against Florida State. He hasn't done it since then. But we always, you know, interchange players.
Yeah.
They don't care if they true freshmen, whatever, because they look like it as we got to get these guys reps for the latter part of the season. We may need them, so they want to get them reps. And you know, I like that mindset because you might need them. You know, then those are important reps, and they put them in at critical times.
Yep.
So I don't mind that, but in that situation,
well, I mean, Georgia does the same thing. I mean, you look at Tennessee last week. There was a post route where looked like Daniel Harris just got straight up beat, but actually the bust was on KJ Bolden, preseason All-American.
Right.
Harris thought he had help on the inside. KJ got lost in the backfield with bad eyes. Brazel's just running to the post, touchdown, easy enough. I mean, that's a bust from a guy that is, like I say, a potential All-America back there.
Right.
You know, so confusion is a heifer, and it can get the best of them. You know, nobody's perfect.
So that's just my issue with Kane Womack, man. I think a lot of Alabama fans have an issue with Kane Womack, but you know, we just gonna hope for the best, and hopefully our Alabama Crimson Tide can pull it out. And hey, we'll see what happens, man.
Well, let's turn it around on you right here. You're like, what's my biggest concern? I know you said Womack, but on the field, is there anything matchup wise or anything like that?
Biggest concern on the field, offensive line. That's my biggest concern. All right. Because we do have questions on the right side, just like y'all do. Yeah. And as I mentioned, Caden Proctor. So that's right side and left side. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
can they pass? Can they protect long enough for Ty Simpson to go through his progressions? That's my biggest concern. If they can do that, I feel like we could shred y'all off. If Ty Simpson get time in the pocket, I think we'll be able to shred y'all defense, considering Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Lotzia Brooks. You got Jalen Hale, and I love Rico Scott. You know, I think we can shred your defense. That's if Ty get time in the pocket. Now, bringing pressure, and we don't. If y'all bringing pressure all night, we don't pick it up. It'll be a long day for us.
Well, it sounds like we agree on that part. I mean, because like I said, I think for Georgia, this is the other way around, right? They got to get after Ty. They got to speed him up And if they can do that, just going to be a good day for Georgia. So
and another issue I have or concern is our middle linebacker, Deontay Lawson. He's not 100%. So, and even if he was, he's not a dominant linebacker to me. He done shown flashes in games, not this season, but going back to last season, he showed some flashes that he can be elite, but he don't play at that level all the time. And that's another concern. And he's not 100%. So that's kind of a concern to me too.
Gotcha. Is he a 3-down back or do they rotate?
Yeah, he's a 3-down back.
So
he's basically the quarterback of the defense.
Well, I know that we substitute in, various packages. So that's why I was asking, because like if Georgia's in 3rd down, the guy that we hadn't even talked about, we hadn't really looked at the running backs, but Georgia's got a stable. I mean, everybody knows Frazier.
Yeah.
Chauncey Bowens is number 2 or has been number 2. You got Dwight Phillips, the home run threat, who is the real speedster back there. And then you still got Cash Jones, which people just forget about. The Cash runs the ball real hard, but when he's in the game, he's kind of like what we were saying about Jam Miller, right? Great on pass protection, great out of the backfield. And that would be a potential matchup for Georgia if they could get Cash Jones matched up on Deontay Lawson. Or did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah, if they get that matchup, then that's a win all day from Georgia based on what you just told me.
Yeah, they use Cash Jones on that wheel route a lot too.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I think on 2 occasions last year he scored touchdowns on the wheel route. So I didn't like Cash Jones for that reason.
Yeah.
So
that little angle route too, though, right over the middle.
Yeah. Now, I think I would say if we can find a way, hopefully Kane Womack can do this, is find a way to stop your screen pass. If we can do that, I think we'll be in business.
Now, I you mean the bubble, the outside
the bubble
screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what,
like that.
I cannot remember the last time that Georgia ran a true running back screen. Like like the NFL, let them come through. I can't remember the last time Georgia did that, but they run the fool out of a tunnel and a bubble. That's for sure.
Tunnel screen and bubble screen all the time. And I hate it. I hate it.
It's kind of
nobody has stopped it.
Well, it's kind of
you might stop it every now and then, but for a full game, you're not gonna do it.
It's kind of like the option, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to do what you're supposed to do. And like it's one guy has to beat another guy. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, it gets out the gate. So
but there's only one instance I've seen that one guy didn't do what they were supposed to do, and that was the last season against Alabama when we got that interception. That's about the only time I've seen it.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do.
You mentioned him earlier, and I've heard you talk about him before. Dylan Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan obviously had a big play against Alabama last year, a couple of big plays. But the thing about Dylan, and the thing that I'm excited for, is that he just so far in this season, the ball hasn't found him. Like he hasn't had an opportunity to really show what he can do. This could be a game where if Georgia's putting a lot of receivers on the field at the same time, for 3-4 out there, Dylan is better if you put him in motion and then play him off of motion, because he's not a true like X or Y, or he's not just going to win outside and get open. That's not his game. But if you can put him in motion and get him into matchups, then he's a matchup nightmare. So if Georgia can do what they want to do offensively and utilize Bell in that way, this could be another game where he shows back up and really does something for Georgia, because he's great with the ball in his hands. It's just that it hasn't found him yet this year.
Right. Well, I hope it don't find him in this game either.
Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah, that's pretty much all the questions I got. You want to how about giving me 3 bold predictions for your Georgia Bulldogs in this game?
All right. Now, I did not. I won't jump ahead because we might get there. You might be about to ask me. So I'll do this. 3 bold predictions. Gunnar Stockton accounts for 3 touchdowns. At least one of them is going to be rushing. That's my first bold thing. 3 touchdowns, at least one of them is going to be rushing. 2, Georgia holds Alabama to under 100 yards rushing. And 3, there is a big play in the special teams game for Georgia. Could be a block kick, could be a nice return. I really think Georgia has the advantage when it comes to the special teams game. And I'll even say it could be a punt that flips the field, right? Changes momentum, something like that. Just a big play. I think that's kind of bold. Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially you know, that don't happen, a lot. Like a I ain't gonna say it don't happen a lot, but it don't happen often enough.
Right.
In a run back, running the kickoff back, or a block punt, block kick. It don't happen. It can even be a block field goal.
Yeah.
It just don't happen like on a regular basis often enough.
Yeah, I'll go with one of those.
Okay. My bold prediction. I already said it before,
and
I'm going to say it again. Ty Simpson throws for 350 to 400 passing yards. That's one.
That hurts.
350 to 400 passing yards.
Okay.
He also throws,
I was gonna say I'm waiting on more. I assume you got another one or two.
350 to 400 passing yards.
Okay.
3 touchdowns.
Okay.
3 touchdowns. Alabama runs for 125 yards.
Okay.
Because Wisconsin held us to what, like 70-some yards. So I'm going 125 against your defense.
Okay.
Alabama holds Georgia with that run game 150 yards. Rushing.
150 or less. Okay.
Yeah, 150 or less.
Okay.
That bold enough for you?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I thought you were going to go like under 300 total yards or something like that.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. No.
Yeah, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Let me
make sure I write this down.
Okay. I was just going to go back and rewatch it if I had to.
Okay. Hold you under 150 yards or less.
Yeah.
Rushing. Ty Simpson goes for between 350 and 400 passing yards. And 3 TDs.
3 tutties. Man, I tell you, dude, it sounds to me like a couple things. It sounds to me like you think it's going to be kind of high scoring. Yeah. And it sounds to me you think Alabama's going to win the game. Yes.
I'm saying it's going to be high scoring on our end. I'm not even saying y'all.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to the prediction, the season prediction, before the season started, I said that I pick Georgia to lose to Alabama, break the streak. And the thing about that was it didn't make a lot of my Georgia people happy, but that's not what I'm here to do, right? Like I'm here to tell you what I think. But the thing is, it ain't even about Alabama. I think if you ask me, can Georgia beat Alabama? And if so, how do they do it? I can absolutely tell you how Georgia's going to beat Alabama. And I have full faith that they will. But my pick was that Alabama's going to win. And the reason it is that way is because it's kind of like Tennessee last week. Like Georgia had to go up there and prove it. Like, you got to go show me. Show me that you can do everything that Gunner's supposed to be able to do. And they did. That's how I feel about Alabama this week. Georgia has to just show me that you're going to go beat them. Again, me and you, old head Gen Xers, I remember the history. They may not, but I do. So you just got to go show me. So my official pick is that Alabama wins the game. But I absolutely believe that Georgia can win the game. And I absolutely believe that they are going to give it everything they got on Saturday. But I need them to show finish with a bigger number on the scoreboard than Alabama.
Well, you know, coming into these games, I always pick Alabama, but I always know Georgia can win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, under Kirby, Georgia always have an excellent chance at winning these games. But I just have to go with my team. So in these games like this, I'm gonna always go with Alabama. Now, if Alabama would have came out and continued to play like they played against Florida State, you would see me picking Georgia to win this game, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
So they didn't play like when they played against Florida State. I'm like, ain't no way in hell we gonna win 8-9 games playing like this, because I didn't think we would. But the 2 games that we played since then, I know the opponent is not all of that, but I've seen good things out of Alabama. I'm hoping that we got a lot of stuff fixed and we can continue on the trend that we're on right now. I hope this bye week didn't have an effect. I'll just say that.
Man, there ain't nothing wrong with being a fan. There ain't nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, I do have a history as being a professional, and it's hard for me to shake that loose. But when I sit here and talk about Georgia, I do speak as a fan, right? Fan first. That's my point of view. I just look at stuff a little bit differently than maybe some of the other guys do. And I think that's why people watch, you know, because they don't hear what they hear everywhere else. And I think that's cool to hear different perspectives occasionally.
Right.
I think, have you ever been to Athens for a game?
No. I ain't planning on coming either, unless my Alabama Crimson Tide beat the brakes off of y'all, and I'm gonna hop in on a truck, and I'm gonna come to Athens, and I'm coming through there. You can believe that.
I'll tell you what, I've only been to Tuscaloosa once, and I didn't go. I was in the game. I was just traveling through, but we were in Tuscaloosa, so I have been there, but I've never stopped and done anything that took much time. But I will say this though. Athens is the kind of place that you can show up and just have a great time, you know, even whether your team's playing or not. So if you ever find yourself in the neighborhood, swing by there and check it out, because it is a fun town.
I've been invited by plenty of Georgia fans. A lot of Georgia fans that invited OKB to Athens to tailgate.
Nice.
So a lot of them.
I like to hear.
But if I ever come through Athens, you know, I gotta visit Sanford Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all probably got a Bulldog statue out there.
One.
Well, I haven't been, so I'll take a picture with. I went to Tennessee and took a picture with Smokey.
Oh yeah. You can walk in. You can walk in and check out a lot of that stuff. You can walk out there, get a good view of the field, and check out the mausoleum where all the Uggas are buried and all that stuff. So,
that's what's up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on right there.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I got. Unless you want to make a final score prediction.
No, I don't have a score. I mean, I disagree with you though. I don't think it's going to be real high scoring. I don't even have any idea what the numbers are on it. You know, Vegas numbers. But I mean, I think Georgia's still favored somewhere around 3, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's 3.5.
3.5.
Last time I looked, it was 3.5.
So that is what it is. But I just don't think it's going to be like Georgia Tennessee was. I just think I think only one team is going to get to 30 if anybody does. I really see it more in the neighborhood of 24-17 or 28-21 or something like that. I don't see them putting up a whole lot of points. And maybe I just have too much respect for the two defenses. Maybe that's just me making a silly guess, but I do think though, I mean, like I said, I expect Alabama to show up in their very best version of whatever they are this year. I think it's going to be the best version of it in Athens on Saturday, and Georgia's going to have to meet that moment. And again, for old dudes like me, that's just something that makes you nervous just because you've seen that before. And it's one of those things where I think when the season, like we were in the preseason, the number for this game seems like it was somewhere between 4 and 6. This number where it's at now, like 3, maybe 3.5, whatever it is, I think that's much closer to accurate than whatever it was in the preseason, and I just think that what about legacy though? I heard an opinion today that if speaking about DeBoer particularly, that if he loses this game, it's a bad situation for him. And I don't mean he's going to get fired or nothing like that. I just mean like if he had the win over Georgia last year and then the rest of the season happened.
Yeah.
And now he's looking at Georgia again. So if he wins against Georgia on the road, you kind of 2 birds with 1 stone, and maybe he can start to build a foundation for whatever it's going to be with him.
Right.
But if he loses, then the rope is, and the patience and everything just gets real short about what he could potentially do down the road. I don't know. Do you agree with that at all? Because
what I mean is if he loses, how he lose.
Okay.
How do you lose? And then what's going to be your response the rest of the season? You won last year. And like you said, the rest of the season happened.
Yeah.
So if you lose, what happens the rest of the season? Also, if you win, what happens the rest of the season? We can win. Alabama can win. And then what happened? You say you win this game. Vanderbilt is on a tear.
Yeah.
You got to play them the next week. So you lose this game, you win this game and lose to Vanderbilt. I think you're going to have the same thing you had last season.
Okay.
As far as how people is looking at Coach Kalen DeBoer. Because you can win and then go lose 3 more games. And then what? People looking at you the same way. If you get blown out in Georgia and then lose 3 or 4 more games, or you can lose and then win out the rest of the season. Then those 2 losses probably won't matter because you're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
So,
well, all right. So if that's DeBoer, then give me a Bama fan vibe check, right? So like coming into the year, there was all that talk heading up to Florida State, Tommy C, and
I did a lot
disrespect and all that'll be dealt with, and then they just got walloped, right? Yeah. And now you got Vanderbilt next week. Forget what happens with Georgia. You got Vanderbilt next week, and there's been a whole lot of talk about all that. If them boys are running their mouths, because they've already been talking about it, right?
Yes.
If they're running their mouths next week, again, regardless of what happens with Georgia, I'm just curious how Bama fans going to feel about all that. Because, I mean, kids are kids, I guess. Yeah. But,
I think every Alabama fan feel like we got to beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
We got to beat Vanderbilt. I mean,
do you want to hear from the players?
The same team that they was 3, 4, 5 years ago.
No, but do you want to hear the players chirping, I guess is what I'm getting at.
No, I haven't heard Vanderbilt players chirping.
No, Bama.
Oh, no. I heard what Ryan Williams said a while back during the offseason. Okay. That's the only thing I heard. But the thing is, Vanderbilt is not the same team they used to be.
Yeah.
But then you look at the Vanderbilt now, they pretty good. But then in your mind, you got it's Vanderbilt. Even though you lost to them last year, it's Vanderbilt. But that's the thing. We gotta get that out of our mind. It ain't just Vanderbilt no more.
No. And honestly, this is the same thing for Georgia as it is for Alabama, as it is for Ohio State and Oregon and all the rest of them. Like, because of what's happened with the portal and the way players can move, it's not the same for Georgia as it was in 21 and 22, or Alabama as it was in 20. You don't have 3-4 dudes just waiting. That's not how it is. These boys are going to play somewhere. And I mean, like, look at Georgia right now. I can look AJ Harris, starting corner for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Couldn't see the field in Athens, starting for Penn State and doing a great job. Right.
That's just like Earl Little Jr.
Yeah.
From Alabama. He at Florida State now.
Yeah. Damon Wilson should have been, in my mind, should have been at Georgia this year. He's over at Missouri, So there you go.
Matter of fact, I was watching the game. I seen what's the little guy y'all used to have?
Little guy.
He was short as shit. He was short as hell.
Oh, Makai Muse.
Yeah, I seen him. I forgot what team it was, but he's a starter.
Syracuse, maybe.
It might have been.
I don't remember if it was Syracuse or if he went to Houston or somewhere.
But matter of fact, I think it was Houston.
Houston, yeah.
Houston played the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing his thing.
Yeah. That's what I mean, man. It ain't the same for us out here. You know, we can bellyache as fans all we want about how Georgia's supposed to do this or supposed to do that. I'm like, man, the Jimmies and Joes just aren't the same. The frontliners are fine, but the depth and stuff for all of us is not the same as it was.
Go 3 and 4 deep.
Yeah.
2 deep is about the best you're going to get now.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, we're all young. I know I talked about that number earlier, but the truth is it's that way everywhere. Some places just a little bit more than other places.
Right.
But the bottom line is coaching is more important right now than it has been in recent memory, because you have to be able to get your first 22 ready quicker than the other guy can get his young 22 ready.
Yes.
And whoever can do that better is generally the guy who's going to come out on top. I mean, and that's just the reality for the way it is right now in college football.
Right. But I got one more question. It ain't got nothing to do with Alabama or Georgia.
Okay.
Give me your, well, it's not a question, but give me your opinion on not Gunnar Stockton, but Carson Beck right now at Miami.
Okay. Well, I'll start with where I started with Carson Beck. The day he announced he was leaving, I had zero ill will toward Carson Beck. I thought he did what they asked him to do at Georgia. He waited his turn. He took his shot, and, you know, they didn't finish. And he was leaving Georgia one way or another. He was either going to the draft or wound up going to the transfer portal. And he goes to Miami, gets a good deal. Good for him, man. You know, as far as that's concerned. Now, how he's playing, through the first couple of games, I sort of gave him a pass because I was like, he still looks like a prototypical NFL quarterback. Big arm, stand in the pocket, deliver the football, can make all the throws. But the thing about him is what we saw against Florida on Saturday. He still, if he's having to move his feet, you know, if he's having to move inside the pocket, he's still prone to making that mistake that's going to hurt him. And that's part of what left Florida hang around the other night. And so I don't have any ill will toward him at all. But I think I see him for what he is, which is a guy that's going to be drafted high, just on potential, if nothing else. He is a good quarterback, but he clearly has stuff that he needs to work on. I've never been a hater. You know, I appreciate what he did for Georgia when he did it, but it's, you know, he's not here anymore. So I don't think about him a lot. But I think he's still basically the same dude that he was last year. Like, if everything's good around him, he can be really good. If he's got protection, if he's got wide receivers that can win, you know. But if it's not that way, then his warts show up. And that's what we saw the other night.
Right. Oh, well, the first, 3 games they had, I think he just looked more comfortable in the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think he played with more confidence. But this past week, not so much. It just seems like his demeanor changed.
It's wild.
It's like things wasn't going right. And his demeanor changed. That's just what it looked like to me.
And if
like he didn't want to be there.
If you're right, you know, because I saw him a couple of times, he would like frustrated that guys drop balls or whatever. And that gets to the point of what I think a lot of Georgia fans think about Beck, is that when it gets tough like that, he's not the guy that you're going to look to be like, push through, fellas, we're going to go win this thing, you know? Right. Whereas this year with Gunnar, all that boy knows is to fight. I mean, I did a video. I've been talking about it for months. I've never been concerned about Gunnar Stockton. Georgia's got real issues that they need to address. Gunnar's not one of them. I mean, he's not going to go out there and win every game throwing for 300 yards, but he's going to lay everything he's got on the line every game, and he is more than good enough to win for you. So teammates recognize that, and they're going to play hard for that dude. And I don't know that was the case for Carson Beck last year. So if there's any dramatic difference in the team, I think you can contribute it just to that alone, is that they know that Gunner's going to fight and give them everything he's got. And they're going to do that for him too.
Right. Well, I agree. I don't think Gunner's the problem. Just like some Alabama fans said Ty should have been benched in the first game. I don't think so. But I did say if they had to make a change, make sure you open up the quarterback battle and give him the same opportunity, as to win the job, again.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting because
I don't think in that game, Ty wasn't the problem either. The man went for 258, 2 touchdowns. He wasn't the issue. And zero turnovers. He wasn't the issue.
And he's been in the system. Well, I mean, obviously you got a new system under DeBoer, but I mean, like, he knows the system. It's not he doesn't know what to do. Before the season started, I said that Georgia and Alabama were in the same spot. And that is, if you have an injury or something at quarterback and your number one guy goes down, both of us are in a bad place. I mean, it doesn't mean I don't like Ryan Puglisi. I think that kid's going to be great, like really, really good. But he obviously doesn't have any experience right now. And when I look at Alabama, I see the same thing. I mean, Ty Simpson's hotter than a firecracker. He knows what he's doing. But if he goes down, how are you feeling about whoever's next?
I feel real good.
Yeah.
I like Austin Mack. Austin Mack has been in this system 2 years. Well, he got recruited by Ryan Grubb and Coach Caden DeBoer. He was at Washington with them,
right?
Even though he redshirted, and then when they came to Alabama, he came with them. So he's been with those guys his whole career, and I like him. I like what I see. He's a prototypical, pocket passer or whatever, pocket quarterback. He's standing at like 6'4". So, and he's pretty accurate with the ball. So I like what I see out of him. Now, Keelan Russell, we hear all the talk about Keelan Russell. He's a phenom, whatever. But the thing is, I think he's got farther to go than Austin Mack, simply because he's a true freshman. He hasn't been there. This is his first season. So, but I like what I see out of him too. He got in against in the second game. I forgot who we played. ULM.
Yeah.
And he looked pretty good. He threw 2 touchdowns. So he looked nice. Matter of fact, both of them threw 2 touchdowns in that game. So they look pretty nice. I'm confident in our backup quarterbacks.
Ed Mack is your clear number 2.
Yeah. Austin Mack is the clear number 2.
All right, good. Like I said, I wish Georgia had an opportunity to get a little bit more Puglisi in the game so far this year.
Right.
But when he's come in, he's thrown it around a little bit. Like I said, I feel like he can do some things. It's just the experience for him. But that was something I was real concerned about coming into the year. Is whoever was going to be doing number 2. Handling.
So who's after Puglisi?
Well. There's a room full. I'd probably say Ryan Montgomery is your number 3. He was really showing some skills during the preseason work that he was getting. You hear reports out of the scrimmages and stuff like that. So he throws a really nice ball. He's another dude that could have played anywhere, and so I think that if Gunner is done at Georgia this year, whatever that looks like, and he doesn't come back, all you're going to hear coming out of Athens in the spring is about that quarterback battle, because it's going to be Puglisi and Montgomery. And then, of course, Jared Curtis is going to show up in December. So that's the rookie.
Jared Curtis was a highly rated quarterback, right?
Yeah, supposedly the number 1 quarterback in the country. So,
I thought.
Yeah, so everybody wants to see him, kind of like Keelan, right? Everybody wants to see that young dude. But the fact is that Puglisi and Montgomery are quality football players, and whoever wins that job if whoever doesn't win that job, let me say it that way, if that's how it plays out, will probably stick around, because the competition goes on, as Kirby likes to say.
Right.
But at that point, they would probably transfer out after next year, because you've got Curtis sitting there and he's not going to wait. And so if it were Puglisi to win the job, maybe Montgomery would back him up next year. And then if it doesn't look like there's going to be any movement, I would expect that if it were Montgomery who didn't win the job, that he transfers out. And then you've got, Curtis in the wings. Yeah. He would be your new number 2. So
it's the same here. If Ty Simpson decides to go to the NFL,
yeah,
and Keelan Russell win the job, I think Austin Mack will transfer out.
Yeah.
Well, this is his 3rd year, so.
And it's kind of different at quarterback, I mean, there's only one dude that can play quarterback. You're not rotating in. So if you don't have a shot, if you don't win out, then, go play. Put something on tape. Take your shot.
That's it.
I don't hold it against any quarterback that decides they want to do that,
Exactly. Because you got to put your talents on display to go to the NFL, because you can't go to the NFL being a backup quarterback.
No.
You can, but you won't be drafted. You're go in as an unrestricted draft pick.
You can have a career. You can have a career as a backup, but you ain't going to get there as a backup.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I pretty much got for tonight, man.
Nice, dude. We went almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Off script. No script. Fans don't know. We can tell y'all we didn't know what we was doing. I mean, we kind of maybe knew, but I feel like we had a good time.
Yeah. We went. It lasted longer than I thought.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna talk a little bit more with the chat, and talk about some of these comments. I like to open up the phone lines too, but
man, I hadn't even looked really at the comments. It goes so fast. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it goes fast. We got 235 in here. We had up to 260, I think.
Oh, nice.
That was watching. So
nice. That's cool. Well, I hope they enjoyed the show. Like I said, I had a good time. And again, I appreciate you hitting me up and being like, hey, let's make it happen. We finally got it done.
Right. But guess what? We can do it again after the game.
That's right.
If you want to, we can do it like Tuesday. You want to do it again Tuesday? If you're free?
Tuesdays.
Or you can just let me know.
Yeah, well, I'll just hit you up. Tuesdays are pretty open. I mean, we just kick around. I mean, generally speaking, Tuesdays are a good night for me. So unless something's coming up, but we'll talk about it. That'll be cool. I like that. Yeah. We just talk SEC or something, whatever you want to do.
Just send me a text.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Also, chat. If you ain't subscribed to Randy's podcast or his channel, go over there and subscribe. It is, I can't get the initials, but
it is the How About That Dogs Cast. HBTFDAWGSCAST.
Can you put the link in the chat?
Yeah. Give me 2 seconds and I'll have it for you. Yeah, man, we can do that because it's we do talk dogs all the time, but we do have a show on Thursday nights. Usually on Thursday nights at 8:00. This week is the one week it has to be different. But usually on Thursday nights at 8:00, my brother comes on with me and we do a show called the SEC Powers, because that's my last name, Powers Hour. And we pick all the games, talk about whatever the news is, and we just have a good time on Thursdays, man. On Wednesdays, that's all dogs all the time. But on Thursdays, we kick it around the league a little bit, and we try to have a good time.
Right. Okay.
Let's see if I can get this to paste in here. And if I can, we'll be all good. Y'all let me know if that shows up for you.
Yeah, no, it ain't showed up yet.
There it is.
Just showed up. It's up. So y'all hit the link, go over and subscribe. We got 237 still watching.
Nice.
If you ain't subscribed, we need about 200 of y'all to go over there.
That'd be beautiful.
But man, it was nice having sitting chilling with you.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll do it again, my brother.
Absolutely, man. And don't worry, I won't be clipping you. I do that sometimes. I grab those Alabama voices that got something they want to say, and I'll throw it out on the short form. I
Hey,
try
that's
my
fine.
best. I try my best. I won't be clipping you.
Hey, that's fine. That might get some people to come over here.
There you go. I'm all about it. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, all right, brother.
All right, man. Have a good evening.
All right. Appreciate it. You too. What a good show. What a good show. Y'all give Randy a shout out. Make sure you go to Randy's channel and you subscribe. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Okay, so don't let me down. Go over to his channel and subscribe. You see, Alabama and Georgia fans can get along. You know what I'm saying? We can get along. We do this. We talk trash. But guess what? It's all in fun. You know what I'm saying? We support our team to the fullest. Yeah, man. And for all you people or fans in the chat that talking about I'm giving away too much about Alabama, what I'm talking about ain't got nothing to do with how they gonna perform on the field. Just like what Randy was talking about, Georgia ain't got nothing to do with how they gonna perform on the field. That's all. That's all it is. That's what we do. We talk about our team. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a coach, so it is what it is. I was on Armando Black show talking shit. He hates Bama. Yeah, I know. Thanks for hanging out with us over here. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate it, man. We're gonna do that again. But it was good to have a dog fan on the show, man, right before the game. And I'm trying to get Sports Talk Jay over here. Or I can go on his channel before the Tennessee game. But it'll be, how my Alabama Crimson Tide have me feeling. Y'all know what I'm saying. But anyway, matter of fact, I'll put the link in the chat real quick, just in case anybody wanna holler at old KB for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be too much longer. But fold. Hey, watch him. Oh yeah, this is what I want to talk about for you dog fans. Yeah, don't nobody hit that link yet. For you dog fans, I had something I want to talk about. I was gonna, do a video about this, but I go ahead and talk about it. I want to talk about y'all win streak real quick. Hold on, Real Dynasty. I got something I want to talk about. Hold on. I made a mistake. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna take no phone calls. This is what I want to talk about for you dog fans. And y'all 33 game win streak. Y'all know that's a little flawed, right? Y'all know it's a little flawed. I just want y'all to know, yeah, you done won 33 straight. But for all you dog fans, this is what I want y'all to know. Out of your 33 game win streak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of your 33 game home win streak, only 5 of those wins is against teams with at least 10 wins or more. I just want you to know that. Only 5. Only 5. Huh? Come on now. You got 5 wins out of your 33 game win streak against teams with 10 wins or more. But guess what? You got 11 wins against Group of 5 or FCS programs. $11 of them. All right. Add them up. 5 and 11. That's 16. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those wins is against teams with a 5-7 record. With a 5-7 record. What's going on, Sharpshooter Sports Talk? What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Got a big interview on the channel tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna, I'm gonna check it out, brother. I'm gonna check it out. So I will be in there. What time? 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7. Sharpshooter Sports Sports Talk. Just give me a time. All right. Two of them got 7-6 records. You see what you see where I'm getting at with this win streak? 2 of them got 8-5. You got 1 with a 9-4. 1 with a 6-6. You got 1 with a 6-7. Boy, I tell you, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these teams y'all got on y'all 33 game win streak got mediocre records. I just want y'all to know that. I just want y'all to know that out of 33 games, you got 5 teams with 10 wins or more. Only one of them, as I can see, got 9 wins. And guess what? Only one of them, as I can see, got 8 wins. The rest of them are 8 wins or less. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I know you Georgia fans didn't go that deep into y'all win streak. All y'all saying, all y'all care about it. Y'all won. In which that's what you should care about. So out of 33 of those wins, I ain't gonna say 28 of them is against mediocre teams, but I'm gonna say about 24 of them is. Oh, well, okay, I'll take it to 20. I'd be nice and take it to 20. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I know you don't want to hear SEC dog or SEC dog, whatever you call yourself. I know you don't want to hear that. I know you don't want to hear it. But hey, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. So that's all I'm saying. So yeah, I might not be live tomorrow since I went live today. I don't know yet. Yeah, I made him leave because they don't want to hear the truth, man. They don't want to hear the truth. But if you come over here, that's all I can give you. Oh, let me see. Let me see. I'll be hanging out here in the chat for a while. I got to see where this thing is going. Well, I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to get off of here. And okay. Oh, he got Xavier Griffin, 5-star Xavier Griffin coming on the show. Sharpshooter Sports Talk. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Doing big things. That's what I'm talking about. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be locked and cocked for that damn game. You can for that stream, you can see that. You know that, B Sharp. You know that. But congratulations to you, brother. You moving up in the world, man, doing big things, man. That's what matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a call, man. I'm gonna give you a call as soon as I get off of here. Show wheels. But anyway, but yeah, man, that's all I wanted to tell y'all, man. That's all I want to tell you. So it is what it is, man. I've been on here about 2 hours now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. I might be live tomorrow, man. I might be live. I don't know yet. But you know, I gotta do my little should I even do a preview of the game? I know Mike Gundy got fired. Should I even do a preview of this game? Because you know where I'm going to go with it. You know where I'm going to go with it. But it is what it is, man. But anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, man. John Mateer broke his hand. Well, damn. How did he do that? It's the people that made me get here, bro. Hey, it is, man. It is a sharpshooter, man. Because guess what? Without your subscribers and your fans or college football fans, man, would none of be where we at. So, hey, it is, man. I ain't got no Homer helmet on. I would never do that. I would never have a Homer helmet on, man. That's just not me. Y'all know that. I ain't never been a Homer. Never been a Homer. But I enjoyed Randy, man. He had some good points, man. You know, sometime OKB can talk football and without all the antics or the jokes. You know what I'm saying? I can talk a little football every now and then. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed Randy, man, and man, we gonna do this again. We got to have another show. We got to have another show. All right, so it's good. I enjoyed it, man. I ain't lying, man. If some of you dog fans want to come back on here, you know, some of you dog fans in the chat, like the two-time, like King Brian, Stacy Go Dogs, and Sec Dog, and Legendary. I'll invite all of y'all on the show. All of y'all. Go Dog 706. Y'all welcome. Y'all are welcome. All right. But anyway, let me go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, I appreciate y'all tuning in for these couple of hours, man. And I hope y'all have a great night. Enjoy y'all day tomorrow and the rest of the week. And Friday, if I don't come, be live Friday. I mean, today, Friday, you know, I got the members only live. So, and you know what's going to happen Saturday. I'm live all day. But until then, y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the tide. And roll damn tide.
Don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss about nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide. Don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss about nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide. Big Bama, big pride, big legacy. Rama Jamma, yeah, they doubting, gotta let them see. You come to Brian Denny, you ain't ready, well, you better be. Roll Tide, Willie screaming at you, that's a guarantee. And he don't give a piss, blitz, Bama, blitz. Pressure on your QB, about to make him throw a beat. Hold up, that A is not Atlanta, that A for Alabama. And if you rep that Tide, gonna stand up. Yeah. Don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss about nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide. Don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss about nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, about nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide. Don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss, don't give a piss about nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide, nothing but the tide.